What is up? Welcome to the Hypothetical Comedy Podcast. I am Funky Sam Medina,
And I'm Athena Rodriguez.
and we are here with comedian Nick Michelsen. What's up, Nick?
Welcome.
Hey, not much, man. I was just finishing this doodle of a dog wearing a suit, smoking a cigarette on my whiteboard just now.
That's
That
pretty
is
cool.
dope.
Yeah,
I love the preparation for the podcast.
yeah. I wanted to make sure I had all my talking points down. So, as you can see, he's wearing sunglasses, which is very pertinent
And
to the
pants.
topics. Yeah, he's wearing pants. He's a dapper dog.
I hope he has a trap door in case, nature calls.
Nope. He just shimmies them down. He knows what he's doing.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it, Nick. I'm glad to hear it. But do you know what you're doing? How's life out in Austin, Texas, man?
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm surprised I wake up every day, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm liking Texas quite a bit. I've been doing a lot of writing and a lot of rewriting and restructuring is what I've been working on lately.
Good. That's good. That's a sign of a mature comic, right? Because you're rewriting your old shit, that making it better. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, well, I wrote a lot of new stuff and I like it better, but it's not as well refined as my older stuff. But I feel like I outgrew a lot of stuff from, the last 6 years prior. And so there's some of it that's kind of making it back through just, better written. And
Yeah,
I'd like to continue that so I can put together longer formats and longer sets.
that is cool. That is a little secret to the trade, like to restructure some old stuff to kind of like make your set longer, things like that, like old things that worked and then make them work better. So yeah, good on you.
Absolutely, man.
I looked through your Facebook the other day and I just saw like comedy club after comedy club after comedy club. You're getting all over the place out there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm doing my best. I try to just be around. I'm not really married to one specific spot. But also like that's just how it is when you're a smaller unknown, when you're just kind of getting out there. I think that's just how it is. Some guys hang out at a couple of places or one place, and then other people kind of float around. I like to float around. That's why I have a problem when I have when I've had static day jobs in the past. My issue was if the job was repetitive, not only do I have the same schedule and I show up to the same place and I have to wear the same uniform, but I'm also doing a repetitive task that I can predict the outcome 99% of the time for the whole 8-10 hours I'm there. And so stuff like that just drives me absolutely insane. I like having fluidity and an evolving schedule. I like having a change of different audiences, different comics, different stages, different sounds, different lighting, different signage. I like all that. And to me, that's exciting. That keeps me sane. So if I don't want to write brand new stuff and work on new stuff week after week, if I want to run the same stuff for a while and try to lock it in, I can float around. And then also one night at a bar mic, just, hey, there's 5 to 7 minutes of ideas that I'm thinking of that might not work yet, but here it is. I could do that too. But yeah, I like to be around, and I'm still looking for home in a sense. But I'm finding that in me, and I'm finding that in my writing process more than I have before.
Hell yeah, dude.
I like the way you put that because I love performing at venues I've never been to before, and with different comics, meeting new people. Like you said, it's always different comics, different venues, and so you're always meeting new people and you're going to different places and stuff. So I do love the way you said that.
Yeah, and the benefits are really strong when you float around because audiences are different in so many different places. And what doesn't strike in that audience in a different place, you're like, oh, I need to learn how to make this group laugh. I need to learn how to get this demographic. I mean, I don't know if that's kind of like your goal, but I feel like when you're a comic personally, I'll say it personally, as a comic, I like to know that my comedy can become universal at any point. I like to be able to like kind of, maybe you didn't have the same experience I did, but you can understand it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that 100%. And I think I mean, more on that as a whole. I think that one thing I've struggled with was the idea of, well, there's kind of a duality of thought here, right? With writing and crafting a set and trying to
Mhm.
be universal, which is the idea of wanting to grow and try new things and experiment, but also staying to, you know, what your act is. And I think, you know, that's where playing with your set list comes out and trying new tags or new jokes, keeping it fresh. But also, one thing I've been back and forth on over the last 7 years is the idea of being adaptable and being able to go with the flow within a room. But then, you know, there's a fine line between that and pandering, right? And then
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
the opposite side of that, which is I'm going to stick to the material. I'm going to stick to this act, and I'm going to, because I believe in it, right? But on that same side, you also have the issue of being stubborn and not reading the energy. So there's a
Yeah.
weird give and take, and I've found myself on both ends of that in the last 7 years. To now, I'm just trying to remind myself, not everything's black and white. You got to float in the middle,
Mhm.
sometimes, baby.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's cool, man. Hey, so
Well, yeah,
did
go
you
ahead.
grow up? Were you born and raised out here in Stockton?
Yeah, born and raised.
That's cool. What was it like for you growing up in Stockton?
I mean,
Like, did you like it? Was it like
I mean,
was
I
it like
love it.
crazy? Like, was there like a lot of, because I grew up in San Jose, you know, so kind of close, but also kind of not that close. And there's a lot of gangs and stuff. And you know, was that like
Yeah.
when you grew up, a lot of gangs and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, so when I grew up, I basically, I think at like the age of 5, I took over a small street gang, and then
You were the gang.
right, it was yeah, it was my gang after I took it over. This, you know, there was like they were running a juice racket at my kindergarten class. There was
Did you also have the beard then?
I want the beard and the
so
BBL.
that's funny. I've tried to shave the beard off, and it breaks the shears. So I tried to shave the beard. I think it's like I think it's anointed by God, and if I were to find some kind of blade strong enough to cut it, I'd surely die, I believe. But so yeah, I took over a street gang at the age of 5, and we ran that pretty successfully for about a decade, and then I sold the rights to the street gang. Pepsi Cola, shout out, they're my sponsor now. So they bought out the street
Lucky.
gang, and so I'm out of the thug life, baby. You know,
Out of the
Hell
juice
yeah.
life too.
I'm not at liberty to fully discuss that. I will not confirm nor deny. My lawyer says that you can't prove shit, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Hey, I'm a wrestling fan, so juice means something completely different.
Oh my.
Oh, steroids?
Yeah.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't watch wrestling. I did have a an early period. I think I was like 7, 8, and 9, around those ages, where I did enjoy wrestling because on the N64 I had the WWF game with Stone Cold on the cover.
Hell yeah.
And
Hell
so
yeah.
that kind of got me into, briefly, I was into like Stone Cold and The Rock during the Attitude Era for a couple of years. But then I don't know, and I don't want to sound pretentious here. This is gonna piss a lot of people off, but I grew out of it.
I mean, a lot of people grow out of it. It's not uncommon actually.
But look, if
It's
it
more
gives me
common to grow out of it than to not.
no, that's the thing. I'm envious. I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of people that like mega nerds and like just like people that are just have an extreme fandom. I don't have a religion, and it makes me terribly like miserable. I wish I had a religion. You know, some people it's wrestling, some people it's Disney movies, some people it's God. I'm still searching for whatever that religion is for me. I don't have it, baby, but I'm working on it.
That's cool. I mean, at least you have a goal, right?
I mean, I don't know, man. I just
Awareness is the first key, you
It's
know.
somewhere there, somewhere around.
I'm
Is the goal in the
curious.
room?
I'm
The goal
a
through.
curious boy, and I realize that I'm much dumber than I like to admit, and I might be a little bit smarter than I feel at my dumbest. But I realize I don't. No matter how smart or dumb I am, I'm never gonna have certain answers, and I'm trying to make peace with that. I'm never gonna have the answers I want, but sometimes I'm starting to believe we find the answers we need, and I have to be content with that.
That, and then the content, and you're kind of like, well, wherever the wind takes me. And I like that because the wind can take you to really cool shit, really strange shit, and really scary shit. And you never know, but like the way that you see it or that your perspective is when you come to that point is like really what makes the stew, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, the wind took me to hell. I'm in Texas, you know what I mean? So it's like,
The same
uh,
weather, right? The same weather as hell.
Oh
I
no.
mean, I mean, to be fair, California sucks too, but so does every place ever
Every
sucks.
place, yeah.
Yeah, United States sucks, Canada sucks, Mexico sucks, North America, South America, all of it all sucks, man. You just gotta figure out what sucks the least for you. I do like Texas, don't get me wrong. I talk a lot of shit, but that's I think mainly I'm inclined to do that. When I like something, I poke fun at it for one. And secondly, I think the reason I mock it is because so many people, when they move somewhere, whether they're thriving or not, they're like, "Oh, this place is so much better where I came from," and I like to do the opposite. So I sometimes, if I'm in a rowdy crowd, I get up there and I just rub my face. I'm like, "Oh man, Texas fucking blows, right?" and it
Oh,
just
nice.
and it
How do they
pisses people
react to
off,
that?
and it's fun for me. So,
Nice.
yeah, but I mean, when I was in California, like when I would go to the Bay Area a lot, I would do the same kind of thing. I'd be like, "Oh man," I'm like, "Yeah, the Bay, this place fucking sucks." You know, it's I don't know. I could be a bit of a fool, but it's all tongue in cheek. I love it back home. I'm really enjoying it here as well.
Nick's life motto is the grass is always browner.
Yeah, yeah.
What
That's
happened
why
to
I
the
think I didn't.
grass?
I think that's why I'm still here. I mean, well, so right now I'm up in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and
Okay, I
I'm
thought you were in Austin, but okay.
yeah, I was, and then I came up here because I have some cousins that live in the like around the Metroplex area,
Oh,
and
right
so
on.
yeah, I thought it'd be cool if I came up here and spent a few months up here. I still technically am employed in Austin. I just took a extended period of leave, and I'm just
Wow.
hanging out up here right now. And apparently I might be back down there for a few days or a week during South by Southwest helping out.
Right on.
That's cool. Are you employed by like a company that does like these festivals and stuff?
Well, so I'm technically I'm still employed at the Vulcan Gas Company.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know you were working
wow.
at Vulcan.
Yeah. But I left during Christmas to come see family, and they know what I'm doing out
Oh,
here. I'm
yeah.
just regrouping. I'm catching up with family I haven't seen in years, which is lovely. And there's a lot of fun opportunities out here as well. So I'm just kind of exploring that. I miss Austin. It's just the issue I'm having. The reason I haven't visited since I've been gone is because I'm like 3.5 hours north right now, and so yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bit of
Oh,
a drive.
Texas
It's a couple
is its own country.
yeah, it's a couple 100 mile difference. So
Hmm.
I do expect to be back down there, like I said, during South by, and then I want to start making it a thing where I go back for like 1 week a month is, and then what I'm either going to
That's
live
cool.
here and visit there or vice versa because I like both places a lot. So I'm still figuring it out.
You want to hear something funny? Is a few years ago there was a concert that I wanted to go to in El Paso, and I was like, okay, I got family in Austin. Maybe I could stay with my family in Austin and drive to El Paso. Nope, 8 hours.
Yeah, no, El Paso's a mission, dude. So I think, yeah, for me, it's like 4.5 hours from where I am because I'm kind of further north. But
You're already halfway there, yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but so I'm like the same distance from where I'm at. I think Oklahoma City and Austin, I'm like the same distance in between.
Dang.
Yeah, it's big.
That's crazy.
But I
I don't
mean,
know how much
Houston's great, and that's way out there. Like that's too far for me because that's like a couple hours east of Austin, and so that would be a mission for me to go back there right now. But I was there in December and had a great time. I really like Houston.
that's cool. I don't know how much you could talk about Vulcan working there and stuff, or how much you want to,
Or
but
if you want to.
do you have any crazy stories like being a doorman in Texas? Did anything crazy happen that won't get you in trouble?
Crazy that won't get me in trouble. I mean, it's pretty standard door guy stuff. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I've seen crazy stuff, but not necessarily related to that particular business, just
That
around the
makes
area.
sense.
Because Sixth Street itself is just crazy. It's a crazy
Oh
place.
yeah, right. Are they?
Yeah.
Is oh no, that's not the same place I was thinking of. But one thing that I do like that Vulcan does, I think that they do, is that they lock up the cell phones during comedy shows. Is that something that happens?
Yeah. They use yonder bags
Tell me
frequently.
about that process, because like would watch Kill Tony, and they'd be like, "Oh, the phones are locked up, right?" And I used to work at a comedy club at Tommy T's here in Pleasanton,
Oh yeah.
and like that was my like comedy club wet dream, is to have the phones locked up. So tell me about that process.
Gross.
Right?
Gross.
Ew, a pocket is your wet dream. Like, ew.
Sam Medina loves the pockets of
Drink
strangers.
big.
Hey man, as long as
yeah.
people stop recording, I'm happy.
Look, man, I'm a big fan of strange pockets. I get it, but as far as yonder bags, it's a pretty complicated process, to be honest with you, because people got to walk up and you got to be like, make sure your phones are off or on silent. And then you pull up this bag and then they're like, I don't want to give you my phone. And then it's like, if you want to get inside, you got to give me your phone. They're like, no. And I'm like, well, then you got to leave. And then we go back and forth, and then finally put their phone in the bag. And then I click the button, which locks the bag, and then I hand it back. So it's a whole thing.
Oh, so they get actually keep their phone. They're just locked up.
They hold on to it. Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's like a magnetic locking device on the bag, and you got to have this like type of magnet that it goes into like a socket on it and it pops it open.
Now this question is just for me, not for the world. I feel like I heard you call them Yonder bags, and I know there's a comic in Texas named Yonder. Are they named after him or what?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I never heard of that. But to be fair, because I don't know who you're talking about, there are people I meet and interact with regularly, as well as very famous celebrities like that people talk about like on TV and stuff or whatever, or like some guy in a Netflix series, and it'll be a name everyone knows, and I'll be like, who? Because my memory, my memory is so bad, and a lot of times that people are that's my issue with like sports. I like football, but when people want to be like pass statistics and this running back, I'm like, I can't remember. I don't know. Like I don't have a memory for names, and it's even at the level of like very famous celebrities. Like I can probably name like 20, and they were all from when I was a kid, probably before heavy brain damage. So yeah, I don't retain names very easily, and it could be like that. Not to say I can't remember names of people I have special interest in. Like if there's a comic that I like, I follow their work. Obviously, I'll remember that, but yeah, it's tough for me to remember names. So I don't know if I've met this Yonder person. I don't know if they're big or whatever. But I don't,
they look like you. They have a big long. He has a big long beard like
and
you.
long
I think.
hair.
And long hair.
Okay.
You know who he is?
This
oh my
might
God,
be
what if it
someone.
was Nick the whole time?
Was it you the whole time?
What are you talking about?
No,
Are
I don't
you
know.
Yonder?
I know him from Kill Tony because he's on Kill Tony a lot.
Oh, cool. Right on. See what I mean? Like I should know that. And my memory is awful. Yeah. People that I interact with regularly, then I finally get it down.
So this next question might be completely irrelevant since you don't remember people very much. Well, has there been a celebrity or somebody famous that you did a show with out in Texas so far?
Yeah. I was put on a show with some pretty popular names, and then someone really famous dropped in right before my set, and I had to follow, and that was terrifying. But it went well. I did very well. I didn't like kill it like I wanted to, but I definitely stood my ground. I did good, and I had a good set. I had a good time.
Wow, following a big, even just a really good comic is hard sometimes, and you can either be like riding the momentum or just like them comparing you to him and then just crashing out, you know?
Yeah, and it was funny because this guy got off stage, and I'm not comparing myself at all to this person, but just from human to human, he did something I do, which is I watched him go up there and like cook, right? But it was like probably I think he said it was new material, and I can tell he's like trying to figure it out, but he was cooking, and he got off stage, And I went to fist bump him like, hey man, that was sick. And then I just heard him mumbling like to like his friend, and like to me, he was like, thanks. He was like, oh man, I fucking sucked. And it's like, oh,
dude, that's
I'm
me
like,
too.
yeah,
That's
but
me
like
too.
I do that usually, even if it was a good set, like relatively speaking, good for me, which obviously I'm still learning. I'm still technically pretty new in this. 7 years is a drop in the bucket for, you know, people that have been doing it 15 years and more. So yeah, I'm still learning, but yeah, even yeah, I do that, and it was a weird glimpse into seeing somebody who's successful and who is very talented and works hard at this have that similar feeling, even at that level. It was kind of I don't know, it kind of made me feel human in that I was like, oh, okay, like this is just a person that also has emotions and has some similar, probably similar coping mechanisms or ideas about them,
Oh,
like the way
yeah.
they think or feel about their art.
Wow, and it almost made it feel like I can reach that because you know he's the same as me. He's insecure like me.
Oh my goodness.
But it's like,
Well,
but it's almost like obtainable, you know, in that sense because he's human, and it's like, okay, we were both the same.
yeah, that I did have that for a brief moment, and then I remembered who I was,
Yeah.
and then you know my lack of belief in myself came flooding back later. So I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm probably not gonna make it, but I'm gonna enjoy it while I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, either way, enjoy it. Hell
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I feel about the whole process is, I mean, I'm ambitious to the point where I want to be able to like make it something full time. It's a career. It's what I do to like provide for myself and my family. It's what I do for joy. I love it. But I think I come off as not as ambitious because people don't see me very often, like all over the place. And I can't really do that. So I kind of have to go, okay, I'm not doing it like everybody else. I'm still trying to do it my way. But it kind of gets to you. And then when I see other people, like recently, I've been seeing the Comedians with Disabilities Act coming up on my timeline in Facebook. And they're an act of all disabled comics who kind of like tour all around and show you, you can do this, you can make this like your career, and don't let anything hold you back because we don't let anything hold us back. So yeah, I feel like being able to witness other people doing something that you are doing currently, it kind of gives you a little bit of ease going, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm here.
I get what you're saying, but I get that's what they're trying to do is inspire hope, but I have the opposite feeling when I
Oh
see
yeah.
some. Yeah, when I see somebody with a disability killing it in life, I get like bitter because because I'm fully bodied abled and I'm a piece of shit. And here you are, you have the perfect excuse to do nothing. What are you doing? Like, dude, if I like sprain my ankle, I'm like, yeah, I can't go into work. I'm sorry, I can't send these emails. I can't, guys, I can't. I've sprained my ankle and I'm bedridden for 6 months. You got to leave me alone. I need someone to cover my rent. And so I'm very bitter when I see somebody who is clearly disabled and they're overcoming it, like with that handicap, no pun intended, having that. And then like they're like, yeah, I'm just killing life. I got all the bitches, I get all the money, and I'm like, I had trouble getting out of bed before noon today. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
it's
it's different
humbling.
levels, right? It's
Yeah,
different levels because I see those people and I'm inspired, but then I feel shit when I'm looking at like a makeup tutorial and this person only has one finger
yeah,
and they're doing a full thing of makeup, and I'm like,
yeah. That's the
what am I
point. Yeah,
doing
that's the
with
point I'm
my
making is
life?
that I think what happened is that they're better than us. And I think God saw that and God was like, okay, like
Get off your
I gotta
ass.
level the playing field. I sorry,
Yep.
your legs aren't gonna work because it's not gonna be fair for everyone else. And then Timmy shows the fuck up and kills it anyway. And then God's like, guys, I gave you every advantage by trying to hinder the process. I mean, you guys, with all your work and limb, you just suck. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I just suck.
So when did you first get an interest as in stand-up comedy, just like as a
Yeah.
fan, like
Uh,
listening to it and checking it out?
let me just circle back real quick. I want to double down on something real fast.
Okay,
So
yeah,
like
All
yeah.
right.
if
Do
I
it.
got hit by a bus tomorrow and nothing like I was paralyzed, you best believe I'm quitting everything. I'm milking that until I die. I just want you to understand. I'm staying home. I'm watching Netflix. I don't have to do jack shit now. And that's me as a person. I'm not a good person is my point. Okay. So just to reiterate, I'm saying handicapped people with disabilities are better than me because they're generally just, you know, when they overcome. I'm saying nice things. You know what? Shut. I don't have to explain myself to you guys. Next
You
question.
know, I feel the same way about alcoholism, because there's so many times where I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, I just quit drinking alcohol. My life was great," and I'm just like, well, I don't even drink alcohol now, really. You know, what do I have to quit?
See, that also because I'm 35 days sober today, and my life is worse.
Well, I mean, the
so
first
much
couple of
worse.
months are going to be worse before they get better, you know. And
I
that's
might
to be
drink after
expected.
this call.
I mean, that's what we
Like
get.
this sucks. So
Are you sober like because you want to be sober, or you just like been out of
Need a break.
alcohol for a little bit?
that's a good question, and that's fair. That's very honest of you to ask that, and I appreciate you not patronizing me. Both would be my short-term answer. I definitely want to be a better person, and you know, the problem I'm having now is I was numbing myself to all these feelings that I thought I was living in because I was tortured by them, but I was tortured by them through a layer of cushion, and now I'm raw to them, so now they hurt more. The guilt I feel feels heavier. The shame I feel feels more exposing, and I'm having memories. I thought I remembered everything clearly, and now I'm having other things that are popping up that I haven't thought about in 5, 10, 15 years. And so that's kind of a bummer, dude, because it's like, oh, at least when I was drinking, even if I wasn't going to drink for one day, I knew at the end of this, if it gets too miserable, I can just go get hammered. And I don't have that safety net emotionally now. So that sucks. Not a funny answer at all to your question. So, again, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow and I'm paralyzed, I'm going full drunk is my plan. I'm drinking all the time, and I'm gonna die in a bottle because that's my right. I'm an American, and I'm allowed to do that. Next question.
You know, if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, no pun intended, but you probably wouldn't walk away from it alive. Yeah.
Stop.
That was good.
Just, like, stop manifesting the buzz thing.
All right. Hey, so when you got into stand-up comedy as a fan, tell us about that. When you first kind of discovered it and realized you liked it.
When I was like 7 or 8, it's around the time that I was, you know, climbing the ranks of my street gang, the Juice Gang. I became a big fan early on. I was watching old HBO specials as a kid. I want to say maybe one of the first ones I'm pretty confident in saying I think the first stand-up I saw HBO was Carlin.
Oh wow.
I think that was the first one I saw. And shortly after that, I got to see Chris Rock, Chappelle, Bernie Mac, just absolute legends. And then, you know, I got to see other acts as I got a little bit older, like Dane Cook. I think he came out with the Harmful If Swallowed album. And
and Retaliation.
Yeah, and I ended up getting that album as a gift, and I listened to it like 100 times. Actually, I think what really made me want to do comedy, not just be a fan of it, was early on when I was like 10, 11 years old. I would play comedy CDs, like that one specifically, and I would play it in the car when my oldest brother was in the car. I mean, my older brother. I have 2 older brothers, not the oldest, but my middle brother. Me and him are close, and so I would play comedy albums, and we would look at each other and laugh, and then I would memorize them, and then I would just start doing a bit from like Dane Cook, or I would quote like his breaking and entering joke, and he says,
B&E,
"Yeah,
bacon and eggs."
Yeah." He says we're gonna do a B&E and not a bacon and eggs, although that's fucking delicious. And I would just quote that and look at my brother, and it would make him laugh. So there was this jovial, just this shared amusement that I didn't realize we lacked as kids when we were apart, but together we had. And so quoting those things. And then, of course, at the dinner table, I would just be clowning around constantly at that point, trying to make up my own little stories and just get a laugh. And I think when we got older, there was a lot of arguing and stuff. So there were times where, you know, I guess I started bombing early on because there were times I would bomb at the dinner table, and their lack of laughter, I felt like personal rejection, and I would,
Even though it was like Dane Cook's jokes.
no. At this point, I'm like trying to do my own bits.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and I guess
I can see the rejection
their
then.
lack
Yeah.
of laughter, especially if they had a long day and they're just like not in the mood for it. I'd be like, well, fuck you then. I would get so mad, especially like if they told the joke at my expense, and then I tried to do the same in return, like kind of like light roasting each other. But apparently I went too far, and I'm like, well, then fuck you. Then. I just walk away.
Sounds like your comedy now.
No, not now, but yeah, when you guys met me, that's how I was as a comic on stage. It was like, well, fuck you, fuck everybody, and that's.
Yeah.
I think I finally. I don't want to say I've grown out of it in the sense that I don't try to play with that feeling. I do. I like to play with that feeling, but I have outgrown like the he's just an angry guy burning with rage. Like I didn't realize early on that was a crutch, and that was just a way for me to do the best impression of what I thought me as a comic looked like. And now I realize there's a whole plethora of emotions and colors I can paint with it, whether it's the language I use or the verbiage or the way I use it. And just the stories I choose to talk about. So, but yeah, that started really early on. And I quickly became a fan of Bill Hicks and Louis C.K. I was, and then Bill Burr, when he blew up, I was watching his specials and stuff like that. And my stepdad really liked Sebastian and Seinfeld. And in fact, I grew up watching Seinfeld, the sitcom. And so I was just a fan. I was just a fan early on of comedy. And there was this making light and mockery of society, but also this darkness in it of guilt and admission and mockery, and it was very attractive to me, and it was all within storytelling and joke telling, and that just fascinated me, especially the storytelling side.
Yes, that's like one of my major big, I guess, like top tier things that I love about comedy and comedy stylings is I'm a storyteller, and I came from a family of a lot of storytellers, and it wasn't always to be happy stories to tell, but when they did pepper in the humor in these stories that they told, that appealed to me as the way that I wanted to like tell stories on stage, because it just like kind of it's like a very immersive experience when you're doing storytelling.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that in tougher crowds that aren't fully listening or like bar rooms, I think that makes the bombing hurt even more, is because it's like because
you're like, this is my life.
Yeah, whether you're telling a fiction or a fictionalized truth or something that's more documentarian. I don't know if that's a word, but I used it and I like it, so I'm going to keep using it. Or I guess I could have said documentative, but whatever. Irregardless, completely I digress.
Just make up your own words. It's fine.
My point is that experience. I think when we bomb during those moments, it's like, oh, these people just don't like my soul, and that part could really. But I mean, again, it's all subjective, and that's not the case at all. Sometimes you weren't funny. I mean, sometimes you have a good story, and no, that's just it. Sometimes it's like literally. Sometimes it's not even. A lot of times, I have problems trusting my material, but I realize that distrust and then going into a set is what's setting me up to bomb more than the material is. Is me not trusting my writer self. So I feel like a lot of times we've rejected ourselves and we don't notice it. And so sometimes audiences subconsciously pick up on that. And then, yeah, there are some times where it's a great story or you are doing a decent job, but maybe it's the wrong setting, or maybe they're not here for that, and that's okay. I've learned in a long roundabout way, I've learned to try to take take the things that are impersonal more personally, and to take the things that are personal less personally. And
Mm.
so, I try to take to heart things that I normally wouldn't, because there's something in there that I could explore. And the things that do feel targeted, I try to remember that they're not always as bad as they seem. They're not always targeted. A lot of times people are thinking of
Yeah.
themselves. I forget who said it, but there was that quote, never attribute to malice what could be attributed to ignorance.
Wow,
Mm.
that's smart actually, because a lot of times, even outside of comedy, right? Whatever, we take things personally when a lot of times it's not meant to be like that. A lot of times, like it's just like somebody cuts you off in traffic, and it's like they weren't looking at you specifically and cutting you off. They're an asshole, and that was it.
Yeah. Or like, even if somebody does something and they deliberately meant it as personal, okay, but doesn't that say more about them or about how they
Yeah,
perceive you than it does actually
yeah.
about you? At,
My
at the
mom
end of
used
the
to.
day, it's a lot of times it's either about them or how they perceive you.
Mhm,
Very little is
right.
about you, unless you're doing something to instigate that reaction. In which case, that's when you walk away and you say, okay, what could I have done better? Because everything's a learning experience. Even if somebody does something to me that I feel like I didn't deserve, and I have to ask myself still, what could I have done better? Like, maybe even if I 100% didn't deserve that, I've seen a pattern with this person. Maybe I could have not hung out with them. Maybe I could
Yeah.
have made other plans, because I know that they're flaky. Like, right. So even if it's not something you deserved, there's still a lesson in what could have I done better.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and then what you said about the malice and the ignorance, I think I think that's like such a telling thing, because a lot of the times when you're dealing with strangers, you don't know their boundaries. You don't know like their morals, you don't know their thought patterns or their processes. So sometimes you could do something in ignorance or say something in ignorance without any malice, but it comes off really shitty because they could be in a certain space in that time. They have boundaries that they've never expressed because they're too scared to, because they don't want to rock the boat with you.
Right. And so, yeah, the shoe on the other foot for this
Mm-hmm.
is understanding that some people are going to attribute my ignorance to malice. And
Mm-hmm.
I have to find a way to just make peace with that. And I
Yeah.
think we get better at that when we do it ourselves. When
Oh,
when
absolutely.
we take their possible malice at face value as this could be ignorance, and I'm going to treat it as such. I think
Mm-hmm.
when we do that, we then allow ourselves to have more grace with how we behave. And hey, that person got angry with me. I didn't mean anything by it. I don't have to be like, well, fuck you. I just have to understand that what I did to them felt malicious. And
Yeah.
if I know it wasn't, then I need to be able to just be at peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's smart. That's good. I
Yeah.
like that. I
Absolutely.
like that.
Plus, it helps you give yourself more grace. I feel like the way you treat other people and you giving them grace or compassion and stuff like that, it kind of, I mean, if you're able to like transmute that energy back onto you, you're able to give yourself more grace. Because technically, like, everybody on the planet is supposed to be kind of like connected to us in a way. So if we're mean to somebody else, it's like we're being mean to ourselves. I don't know. But I think that like when you're giving other people compassion and grace, it kind of like reflects back onto you where you're able to go, oh yeah, I wasn't being a really shithead at that time. So I'm going to give myself some grace because I don't normally be a shithead all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And there are times
Yeah.
where I think it's important to admit, like, I can be a little cunt. And I think it's
Mhm.
important sometimes to admit, like, am I lying to myself right now? Was I being a bit malicious? And if the answer isn't no, I was being sincere beyond a shadow of a doubt. If I did have a chip on my shoulder or some kind of possible, ulterior motive or some kind of intention, then that's something I need to address in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not other people's problems. I try to remember that when I'm in any space. I want to be able to spread my wings and take up the appropriate amount of space, but
Mhm.
also that it's important for me to realize that my presence, just like other people's presence, disrupts my energy. My presence can do the same to them, and I try to be mindful of that. How do I enhance their experience, or at least be neutral? How do I not leave them in a worse place?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you leave a place, you're supposed to find it better than you found it, or leave it better than you.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
I try to attribute that to people. I try to, if I can, leave them better than I found them. And if that's not always comfortable, that's okay. It's not supposed to always be comfortable. But I think, yeah, being true to myself or being authentic helps with that. And that can be scary because sometimes we can be confused on, well, who am I? Who am I today? Who was I yesterday? And
Mhm.
how does that play into who I'm becoming? And so I think there's a lot of big questions there. But I mean, yeah, man, I've been out of the juice game for a while. You know what I mean? I'm just
Dang, I
trying
was
to
looking for
land.
some juice. I was looking for some juice too, you
I've been out
know.
of the juice game
I
for a
need
while.
some pineapple.
I just realized like the amount of depth I was unintentionally bringing out, and I don't want to say I got uncomfortable and I shied away from it, but I felt like, oh, who the fuck wants to listen to me ramble on about grace and being a better person? Like,
Everyone.
no, not at all, not at all, not
Yeah.
for me.
Hey, so I'm
People
gonna
shouldn't
deviate a
listen.
little bit. I kind of wanted to say this at the end, but I'm gonna deviate a little bit.
Yeah.
You do refer to yourself as dumb and whatever, but I just want to say you're very insightful and you're very wise. And even like when we would be hanging out at Ground Stack or whatever, you just say the most like profound things. And every time I talk to you specifically, I feel like you leave me with something to think about. And so I just want to let you know that you are a very wise person.
I appreciate that. I think it's possible that I'm just a pretentious douchebag, and so I'm trying to work on that. I have a fascination with like verbiage and the way language sounds. I just like when I'm writing or reading or when I'm listening to music, I like to experience all the colors that I can, at least within the certain context, right? Like if we're doing a roast battle, which I'm not a roast battle guy, but I admire it. And I think it's one of the colors I try to bring in when I'm being spicy in one of my bits. Like, I'm like, oh, well, fuck this thing. I do try to look at it like, oh, I'm kind of roasting this idea and I play with it. So it's like that's just another one of the colors, right, that we paint with. And so I feel like there are times, and maybe this is my own self-hatred, but there are times where I play back things I said and I'm like, ew, you fucking highfalutin pretend. How about you climb down off your cross and come down here and hang out with the rest of us commoners? I do I do talk. Yeah, I bully myself relentlessly.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're bullying yourself because you got yourself out of the juice game too early.
You bully yourself because you're
That's resentment.
pretentious.
Listen,
You
I will.
you have nobody else to bully in the moment, so you're like, fuck, I guess it's me right now.
Yeah, well, I have to listen. I feel like I do it to a fault because I do break down my confidence probably way further than it needs to be broken down. But I think it's because as much as I fear being having a total lack of confidence, as much as I fear being incompetent, I think I equally or maybe I possibly more fear being egotistical and being having a lack of self-awareness to the point where I have no humility. I think that scares me even more. And so I'm like, even though I'm trying not to practice in black and white thinking, I do try to remind myself the lesser of two evils might be a calmer, more peaceful me than a. Although I do love to be robust, I think being a boisterous, posturing asshole would be just the worst possible version of me, and so I don't want to be that.
I
Hell
think
yeah.
I think being able to vacillate between all of those elements of yourself, I would prefer that over someone who is just putting a fake mask on every day to be like able to be digestible for everybody constantly. I would rather have the realness of somebody actively working on themselves.
Yeah, or then somebody that is an asshole and isn't aware of it. Because there's a lot of those.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that would
I
be
get your
ignorance
point,
though.
and I
I
do
guess that would
appreciate
be ignorance.
it would be. I think that would be, yeah, or maybe arrogance.
Yeah.
I think that would be something of deriving from arrogance, just having this inability, not even inability, having the unwillingness to do actual self-reflection. I think the people we meet the deepest are people who have met themselves.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I've met myself in small doses, and it is terrifying. And so I really do. As much as I isolate, I maybe out of some form of self-loathing. I think I do prefer the company of others over the company of my own self. But I'm trying to get better at that. I think that's
Yeah.
why I'm not drinking, at least for now. I'm not drinking today. I think a lot of
Mhm.
that's because I have a lot of, not to sound religious because I'm not religious, but for lack of better terminology, I have a lot of sins to atone for. And so I'm doing my best to at least acknowledge them. That's the hard part for me is, not having excuses, right? Like, oh, well, he did this and she said that, and then they went and did that. And that's why this happened, which made me do this. And it's like, yeah, but also I did the damn thing. I could
Yeah,
have.
you're like, also,
Mhm.
I could have just not done that.
Exactly. Sometimes the reaction, even if it feels justified and it feels good, sometimes
Mhm.
that reaction is worse than whatever was done to us, right? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, like, yeah, someone stepped on my sneaker intentionally and in front of everybody after I told them not to do it. But it's like, yeah, I didn't have to shove them down a flight of stairs. You know,
Oh, shit.
that was a little extreme, Nick. Like, dial it in. I am insane. I I recognize that. I'm not violent, thankfully, but I am insane, and I do my best to use it creatively. But sometimes it just pours out when I'm just like in the line at a sandwich shop, and it's not directed out of anger. It's just like, who is this man, and why is he continuously asking me what kind of like where what rye bread do you have in stock? Like who cares? Like he's not a rye bread aficionado. Like I don't. This guy, he's making the minimum wage. He just make the sandwich. It's okay. It's okay.
Just make the
Yeah. No,
sandwich.
I do agree with you. And it's a lot of times it's like it's other things, it's life, it's just we're frustrated and we kind of take it out in the wrong places. And I feel like we're a lot alike, as far as like the self-loathing and like I feel like another reason why we're a lot alike is like you belong in comedy a lot more than you think you do sometimes. And I feel like I'm the same with me. And just, things like that. So just keep your chin up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm trying to. I do feel that I get some love. It's weird because like when I get no love or little love, I do acknowledge that I want the love. But then when I get any love, like substantial amount of like respect or care from people, I immediately get a bunch of emotions. Sometimes it is met with suspicion, but a lot of times it feels like faux anger because I'm yeah, I get uncomfortable to the fact like, well, why the fuck do you love me? What's wrong with you? Like, yeah, you're clearly not a good person if you love me. Like that's
Your standards are
suspicious.
so low.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
Raise your standards. I'm like that with relationships too. Like when they start to really catch feelings, I'm like, this is a red flag. Like the fact that you spoke to me should have been the first red flag, lady. So
that's wild.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
work on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, take it one day at a time. That's all you can really do.
Yeah.
Hey, so you mentioned a couple times you've been doing comedy for 7 years. What was it 7 years ago that kind of gave you the
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 push.
guts or the push to get on stage and your inspiration to actually do it?
So I think it had been a year or two before I started. Um, my brothers had told me all the time, like, you should do comedy. And, everyone has that story of their coworkers, their family, whatever. You should do comedy. So they go to an open mic. My brothers told me for years, and many family, oh, wow, you should be a stand up. And I always brushed it off like, okay, yeah, you're full of shit. Like, that's not a real job. Why would they need me? People don't need to hear my dumb thoughts. I wouldn't be good at it. The same self deprecating talk I still hold on to.
Yeah,
And
the same old
so,
Nick.
yeah. And then I remember one night my brother said, "Hey man, I'm going to go to a thing in Sacramento. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing in Sacramento?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the comedy club. I wanted to take you." So we go
Wow.
to Laughs Unlimited. I think this is like 2018 at this point. We go to Laughs Unlimited in Old Sacramento, and this is before the remodel. So it's the old stage with the the white and the it's like the black and white marquee sign, and then they had like that old city street backdrop. I don't know if you've seen the old room.
No,
It
I've
was
never actually been to Laughs Unlimited.
Oh, okay. So they remodeled it to what it is now, but it was gorgeous and it's beautiful now too. But he took me there, and I think it was the Pro-Am, the second and fourth Tuesday show, or first and third, I forget.
Which is their open mic, right?
It's an open mic, but you got to pre-sign, and they put some of the past comics on. They sprinkled them
and
in.
It's like a bucket. It's like a bucket mic essentially, or whatever.
No, I think back then it was only pre-sign, and then
okay.
And then so they would put on their regulars, like their past regulars, people coming through town, and then they would put on their up and comers or people that emailed in that signed up. Sometimes first timers, if they were bringing people, would get on. So stuff like that. And anyway, I went there and we watched and we had a good time. It was my first comedy show I ever went to, and that was with my oldest brother. He was trying to push me into maybe becoming a comic. And I remember I kind of wrote it off, and then like I don't know. I think it was like the end of 2018 almost. I was like debating doing it. And so I started looking up open mics. I was like, I'm not going to a real club for my first open mic. That's crazy. And so I started looking up like coffee shops, anything with open mics. And I couldn't find any that were in Stockton at first. And then I found this place called Finnegan's Irish Pub on Pacific.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, and so shout out Sal Trio. He was hosting that mic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like 6 months I think before he moved to LA, and so he was hosting the mic, and I showed. So what happened was I see the flyer, and I put the date in my phone, like, the next one's in January 2019. And this is like weeks in advance. Like I think it was like around Christmas time when I did this. So I put it in my phone. I'm like, hey, show up to Finnegan's it was like January 19th or January 23rd, something like that. And I was like, show up and there's an open mic. And I didn't have a plan. I just wanted to show up and check it out. I wanted to watch essentially like I did at Laughs Unlimited. And so I'm at this job, and the job's all right. I was doing loss prevention, like plain clothes. And so I would just walk around and basically stalk suspecting shoplifters all day. Yeah. And the boss at the time, I used to set my own schedule and we'd have to be sporadic, but that's not an important part of the story. Anyway, she was giving me shit leading up like that last month. Just she was nitpicky. And looking back, she wasn't in the wrong. I get her point of view now, but at the time, I think I just turned 27. I was just frustrated with life and where I was working. And so she was kind of nitpicking in some shit. And I'm like 2 hours into my shift. It's like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And I finally walk over to the register. There's an open register where I'm going to clock out. And I walk over. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go home. And she's like, what do you mean? There's like 6 hours left in your shift. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like I'm leaving. She's like, you can't leave. You're like, you have the rest of your shift. And I said, no, like, I don't think you, like, I'm leaving. I quit. So I clock out, I go home, I'm depressed as hell because I'm like, what did I just do? I'm laying in bed and I'm basically like, I'm just gonna sleep the day away. And I was just so depressed and I didn't have a plan. And then my phone alarm goes off, my reminders, and it says open mic at Finnegan's Irish Pub tonight. And I'm like, oh God, I can't go to that. Do I go to that? And then I'm like, I don't have a job now, so I guess I could go. And then I end up showing up, and I remember I ran into Sal while he was bringing in the sound equipment. And he asked if I was a comic, and I said, no. And he's like, oh, are you gonna try it? Are you here to sign up? And I was like, no, I'm just here to watch. And he goes, oh, that's cool. And then before he walked away, I go, but I'm going to sign up next week. And he's like, oh, so you want to be a comic? I was like, yeah, but I'm just here to watch tonight. I'm going to sign up next week. I'll be back. And he goes, okay, but you might not. And I'm like,
Oh,
and it
wow.
kind of took me by surprise.
Smart.
I'm like, what? And he's like, you might not. And so I'm like, no, I'm coming back next week for sure. And he goes, okay. And I said, I'm gonna sign up for sure. And he goes, okay, but you might not. And he just kept doing that to me. You might not. And he had these $5 Finbucks tickets, and I'm like, I'm out of a job now. I really want that drink ticket. And he's like, if you sign up, you get a drink ticket. And I'm like, I don't know, man. And he's like, just sign up. And I'm like, what? And then he gives me the drink ticket. He's like, you got to sign up. Come on, and he hands it to me, and I'm gonna go spend it. And I'm like, fuck, all right, I got to sign up. So I signed up, and then I came back the week after with jokes that were bad but written. And then I just kept going ever since.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I bet Sal has seen a bunch of people who want to do it and just kind of come and gone. And so he's like, if somebody comes up to me and says they want to do it, I'm going to inspire that motherfucker.
Yep.
It's funny though. I always like when I tell that story, I always feel weird because and this I think goes back to not liking myself because I'm like, oh God, like I don't want him to feel like residual embarrassment, like, oh, it's my fault he's a comic. Like I do feel bad when I admit that publicly. Like for me, it's a cool story. I mean, if I was
It
him,
is
I'd
a
be,
cool story.
but for if I was him, I would be like, hey man, stop telling that story. I don't want to be held like I am not responsible. Like this is it's your fault you're a comic. Don't put that on me.
I think that was like the perfect way to kind of get you to do it. I really I enjoy that story. And it makes him sound good too, because he wasn't like gonna let you weasel out of it. I liked it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think he saw a terrified person filled with stage fright and probably a lot of insecurity about starting and just uncertainty in general. And so I think he saw that. And, I think also too, when you're running a mic, some nights it's busy, all the comics show up. Some nights it could be slow, and it's like, hey man, I have spots.
Yep.
Like, just fucking sign up. Like, what's the big deal? Besides, it's like 6 drunks, and like 4 of them have their backs turned to us. Like, what's the worst? Like, I mean, seriously,
Oh
what's the worst that
man,
can happen? That oh,
I know
these
that
drunk
too
guys
well.
have real jobs, don't like you. Who cares? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful though that I started there because when we did get crowds on some nights, they were rowdy, and it taught me really early on how to be comfortable in chaotic environments and how to handle that.
Yes.
Yeah, starting at Finnegan
Absolutely.
was a great place for me to start, actually.
Nice, nice. Tell us about the move to Texas. Like, what prompted it, and just how was it? How was it for you?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go either Austin, LA, Chicago, or New York, or Vegas, really. I had like 5 cities on my mind.
Yeah,
But
the comedy hotspots of kind of the
yeah,
U.S.
yeah, but I quickly dwindled that down to Austin or LA, and my reasoning was they're both comedy scenes. They're both one of them's newer and exploding, but they're both well known, well respected.
Hmm.
A lot of industry there. There's a lot of clubs at both places, so I think what it boiled down to was affordability, and I really did. I think the only regret I have about not choosing LA, it's that it's like a 5 hour trip home by car.
Oh, that
And
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's my biggest struggle with being out here is I'm so far from family. And it is expensive to fly back often if I'm not getting booked regularly. So, and I'm not at the level right now where I'm getting bookings to where I can just afford like traveling whenever I want. I have to be strategic.
Of
So
Yeah.
course.
I don't want to say I don't regret coming here, but I for a while I was grieving the idea of, man, I should have tried LA because it's closer to home. But at the same time, it came down to affordability because both scenes looked very attractive to me, with opportunities they were offering. But for me, it's just more affordable being here than there. Even up here in like the right now, I'm spending a few months in the Dallas Fort Worth area, seeing how it works out up here. Even up here, it's even a little bit cheaper than it is in Austin. So, and
Oh,
Austin's cheaper than LA. So it's like it's a lot of it for me is affordability and how do I get the most out of what I'm doing and what I'm working toward? How do I get the most sets and the most audiences and the most writing and all of these things that these places have to offer? How do I get the most of that with the fewest amount of dollars? And so right now, the DFW is really doing its job for me. There's a lot of opportunities. I'd say the con to being up here versus down there is that these opportunities, I'll be driving anywhere round trip. I'll be driving on a mild day, 60 miles, and on a busy night, a couple 100 miles.
Holy
Um,
wow.
yeah,
crap.
'cause I might like tonight, for instance. Like as soon as we're off this call, I'm gonna finish getting ready. I gotta run to north of Dallas to a little comedy club that put me on their weekend mic, and then after that, I gotta go like an hour further north to this town. I forget the name of it. There's a winery. I'm on a show there tonight. Um, and that's like apparently that's pretty close to the Oklahoma state line. So it's
Oh
like,
wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, so I am driving a lot more, but when I think of it, like if I was still in Austin, right? If I was doing San Antonio a lot, it'd be like that because San Antonio is like an hour and a half south of there. So it would be kind of like if I was just traveling to San Antonio a lot, which I wasn't doing when I was in Austin. And I also regret that. San Antonio is a great city.
Yeah,
But
I got some comic friends out in San Antonio that I need to visit one of these days.
yeah, no, great city, great scene. Again, I think yeah, the con to being up here is between the two big cities, Fort Worth and Dallas. There's the mid cities region, so that's like the whole metroplex, and it's a lot of
Nice.
driving. If I want to hit 4 or 5 sets in a night, I got to plan out my time, try to be early for the first few, like go up first or second. And yeah, I'm going to drive, 50 miles this way and then 80 miles back this way and then 30 miles back this way. So yeah, you're going to put some mileage on for sure.
Yeah,
But
but see the difference between LA and Texas is you're putting mileage on, but in LA you'd be sitting in traffic to go 1 mile for like 3 hours.
that's the thing too. It's all time, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
but here we have traffic too. It's just not as bad as that.
Yeah.
Austin, I would say the traffic there is worse than up here in the
Oh,
DF.
That makes
Uh,
sense because Austin's booming. Austin's really like it's really like since the pandemic, it's just been exploding. Really, not
Yeah. So
literally.
like if I want to drive to downtown Dallas, I can do it in the middle of the night for about a half hour. But when it's traffic, yeah, it might be 50 minutes to 70 minutes depending on when I
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
yeah, we get traffic up here too. I mean, it's any major city does, but Austin, I realized the congestion's really bad when you get to downtown Austin because you have the university, you have the UT games, like the stadium, and then you have Sixth Street, all of Sixth Street. You have like E6, which is like all like the hipster bars and stuff, and then you have like that main touristy part with a lot of the comedy clubs on it, Sixth and Seventh. So yeah, you get a lot of congestion there. But I the few times I've been to LA, I would say the traffic there is still much worse.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet it is.
yeah, the traffic in LA is insane. So yeah, I mean, I would just be sitting in the car for 2 hours to go like 2 miles. So it would be the same as far as drive time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hey, so we're gonna let you get out of here and get to your other gig. But before we go, I wanted to ask you: is there some goals or something you want to manifest in 2026?
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you edit this podcast. If you want to cut out the last 10 minutes, I think we just talked about traffic a lot. And and I'm already
People
regretting.
need to know.
No, they
It's fine.
really
It's fine. It was 2 minutes of trafaffic. You're good.
really
You're
God,
good.
Maybe
time
that's
goes
your calling.
dude, time goes so slow when you're bombing. That's crazy.
It
That's
does.
insane. That felt like 10 minutes of dead. Oh, I should have died young. Anyway, but
Maybe 4 minutes of traffic, but it's not that bad.
oh,
It's fine.
brutal, dude. Did we just talk about traffic? Oh my God. Thank God no one asked about the weather. I don't want to. That's so stupid. Why would I indulge that? Do you see what I mean? Like, I think I know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I just said. Like, I didn't listen to a freaking word I just said. I was just saying words, and I
It's all
realized
right.
I
It's okay.
tuned
Neither
out.
do we. Neither do we.
I just came back online. Anyway, what was your question just now?
Um. Manifestations or goals in 2026.
Goals in 2026. I got a show, a comedy showcase. I'm starting to pitch. I'm hoping someplace picks it up. I'm going to be starting an open mic at a smaller mom and pop club in March. They want me to run their.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, on Sunday night. So I'll be running a mic at one of the small clubs on Sunday nights pretty soon, and so I'm excited for that. I'm trying to pitch my showcase where I can start booking people I think are funny from back home and from out here. It's kind of a storytelling format. That's all I'll say for now. So those are kind of my goals short term for this year. Also, just getting some kind of regularship. I got something. I got a club that I'm at regularly where I'm getting some good feelings from, but getting some kind of regularship that feels concrete would be nice, just so I can build my act out. But that would be my goals for 2026. Just mostly self improvement, working on my own emotions and growing as a person, growing as a writer and a performer. Getting back into the juice game is something I'm considering. But
Oh
those are
yeah, you
my
gotta keep
goals.
juicing.
Got to keep juicing, baby. Stay juiced. Stay juicy, man. That's what I say. Stay
Stay
juicy.
juicy.
Hell yeah.
Juicy
Hell
queen.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for joining us. It's been super fun to have our little comeback episode with you.
We learned a lot about traffic.
We did.
I hope I die. But yeah, man, I mean, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. It's weird when people want to talk to me, but I'm always happy to do it. I miss everyone back home. I miss you guys, and I'm happy to see you're still doing it and that you're trying to push something along and you're having conversations. That's a great place to be in. So keep doing that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is the only way that we can talk to you right now. So we're happy to do it too.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I'll look forward to being back on in the future.
I'm almost out of practice. You want to plug your social media?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. It's at Michelsen, but I spell it on there Mykelsen. Michelsen is how I spell it on Instagram and TikTok. And I'm on Facebook. Just search my name, Nick Michelsen. But yeah, that's about it, man.
You can find me at Funky Sam Medina across the board.
And I'm at She Shines For You, all spelled out, no numbers.
Awesome, Nick. Thank you so much.
Later, dude.